Well, good morning, community. Good morning, our brothers, sisters. It's Aaron. I'm Aaron,
And I'm Deborah.
and we here this Wednesday, March 24th, to share an inspiring and really awesome recording show we did yesterday, live from India. Wasn't it amazing, Deb?
Oh yeah, Aaron. It was really touching. He's a friend of mine I've known for a few years from India, and he is also a businessman. So you've seen him probably back in February. He did the show Aaron titled "From Stroke Survivor to CEO," and yesterday we recorded his show because of the time in India. It was easier to record for him. But if you guys ever share any video from here, today is the day. Hey, Sherry. Today,
Everybody share, and
share.
share this.
This is something here, guys, that can touch your life, somebody close to you, somebody you love, because he brings you guys, like Aaron said, lots of gold little nuggets.
Oh,
And his story is pretty powerful.
you know, there's several golden nuggets in this show, and
Yeah.
this show is really for stroke and non-stroke people.
Mhm.
So
Could help you
share
prevent.
it. Please like and share it throughout your networks.
Absolutely. Please. This one's one to share, guys, because it kind of covers everything, not just for the stroke survivor or survivor, but also it gives you a lot of tips that you can see in case someone close to you is having a stroke. You yourself will learn what to look for.
Oh yeah, right. Or the symptoms of stroke, and
Yes.
we come. So let's do it. I'm really excited.
Ready.
So, yeah,
Excited.
okay. This is something new format we're trying. So here's a recorded show. And then Deb and I are going to be small on the side and make the show bigger. So here it is. Ready? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait. You're not going to believe it. I forgot. Oh, God.
Got to put the volume up.
God. I forgot to share the audio. It's silly.
That's all right.
So let me kick it to the curb. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. Hey, not a problem. You do your thing, and I'm just going to chat away. You guys keep in mind what we're trying to do, the direction we're going with the show is, of course, sharing a story. But when we can bring you someone who's sharing their story but educating us at the same time, that's powerful, because I always say sharing is caring and knowledge is power. So if we can bring you both in one show, that's incredible. And the lineup we have, we are booked halfway through July. That's how many incredible, powerful stories we have coming to you. So make sure you tell your friends, share us out. The best thing you can do to help us, other than coming in and saying hi, is share us.
Right. Okay, I think we're ready. I think I got it this time. So tell me if you can hear it. Here we go. I'll make it small and bring.
Yep.
Let's see.
Shrink us. Honey, I shrunk the kids.
Shrink. Shrink.
Yeah.
Well, let's try this. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Can hear it.
Good. I forget to share them. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stroke TV show, Stroke Survivor Story segment. Don't know why it's doing that. Don't know why it's a YouTube thing.
Yeah, it is.
It should be buffering. I know I got plenty of speed. I don't know why it's buffering like that.
So you got to remember, there's so many people working from home now.
Well, you know, it shouldn't be a buffer on this song, would it? Today we have a special treat. This guest is this guy irritates me. I'm right sorry, now. He does. And he did a show for us.
He irritates me too.
And before, Go on the Stroke TV Foundation YouTube channel and look for a show called Stroke Survivor to CEO. So let's get right into it. This is Syed from India. So let's get. So without further ado, let me bring my absolute gorgeous co-host, Deborah. Sorry.
Oh, he's filling my head up with good things.
Syed from India. How you doing, bro? Sorry,
Hi,
Deb.
Syed. Hi, Aaron, and hi, Deborah. How are you?
Oh, we're doing
We're doing
wonderful.
really good.
So happy to have
Syed,
you
for
back.
all your viewers.
We're like kind of friends. We did one show together. I feel like we're friends. You're my friend from India.
Yep.
Right? Yes, yes. We had a very good show. What was it? 3 weeks back.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
I think it did quite well on
I put a
YouTube.
link to his
You that
show
we're talking about
in the
before
comments
the
in the
show.
description.
I think we're
Strokes of Fiber CEO, I named the show. And that's already at like, how would I say, 118 views in 3 weeks. It's doing pretty well. People really enjoying it. So welcome, Seth. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Now, for those that may not have watched a previous show, I don't know why the sound is coming. Introduce yourself to the audience, Syed.
First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for bringing me on the show again. This has been a good experience, a nice way for me to bring out my story, my survival story, and how I actually came out of it. I am a resident of Bangalore. I live in India, and I'm born and brought up here. I had my education. I am a marketing professional. For the last 20 years and so, I've been actually working with businesses in the United States, and have been actually working for them remotely. So that gives me quite a bit of experience about US businesses, and I did learn a lot from my mentors in the US. Right now, I work for market research firms, and it's been a good learning curve for me, good experience. And then we had this pandemic, and that has taught us new things, new experiences. So that being said, that was about me professionally. And 2 years back, I suffered a stroke, and it was a posterior circulation stroke. That is what is mentioned in my records. Posterior circulation stroke. That's what they call it. And it's taken. It was May 2019 when I had the stroke, and between May 2019 and today, that's the time when I actually have. I'm still on treatment. I have undergone a lot of changes from the way the stroke happened, and then I was hospitalized. I was under critical care, and from there, the journey in my progress, in my treatment began, and here I am today. And what I was 2 years back and what I am now is something totally different. So that's what we are going to talk about on this program. Yes.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how much, this is why I need to encourage everybody. Do not compare your stroke recovery, your stroke recovery on someone else's stroke. Everybody recovers differently. Every stroke is different. Saeed's damage in his brain is slightly different than mine now. Our difference.
Absolutely.
So don't compare yourself. I look say you're a high level, you're CEO, you're really performing at a high level. So but I'm still in a wheelchair, can't walk. When you first had your stroke, Tell me a little bit. Did you preach two warning signs that you were going to have a stroke? Do you anything in your life that told you something wasn't quite right?
Mhm.
I did have those warning signs, warning signals. Uh, Certain things, made me stop and think. I was kind of a little bit alarmed that something's not right. First, it so happened that I started with losing my sleep. I had a lot of sleep problems with my sleep. There was sleeplessness. And
Wow.
number two, yeah, that was one. And then I used to have constant headaches, very constant headaches, and sometimes the headaches would be for hours together, like 4 to 6 hours at a stretch. I used to have a headache. Normally, what happens is when you have a headache, you take maybe a paracetamol or maybe an aspirin, and then you it's okay after a little while. But in my case, it was like I used to have headaches for hours together, even though I used to take some medication for headaches. So that was one thing. And then I used to have these bouts of giddiness.
Oh,
Sometimes while I was maybe like walking, doing something, or maybe climbing the stairs or coming down the stairs or something, all of a sudden I used to have this bouts of giddiness. And then I used to hold on to the railings or something immediately to control my balance, because then I would lose my balance too. And that would happen for a few seconds. And then would sometimes I would black out too. I would see for maybe 3 or 4 seconds, and then again I would be able to see. I would be fine again, and then so all these things used to happen. This happened too frequently, maybe say about 45 days or 30 days before the stroke, and then it happened. So these were the warning signs. And then I did visit a couple of doctors, and then they actually told me to, they checked my blood pressure. It was a little bit on the higher side. And whatever advice they give me for the blood pressure to be controlled, I actually had to go through. There was no proper medication to control the blood pressure. They just asked me not to, take too much of stress and
yeah.
good rest and stuff like that. Of course, I was going through a lot of stress. It was work-related stress, and then I was also certain times losing my temper so much, getting irritated very soon, and then I was also the complete hypertension package.
Huh.
Man, you sound like me, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
You walking strokes.
So that all those things had happened, and then I was like uh, paying attention. I thought maybe this is just something not permanent, something temporary, which can be corrected with maybe rest or medication and stuff like that. I was maybe I was badly mistaken. The next step was a stroke, which I did not expect.
Well, that's it. God has a way of giving us little clues, and then
Yes.
if we don't pay attention, that's when He finally really gives it to us. My mother and my grandmother, I grew up in Italy, used to always tell me in Italian, you're the type of person that's not listening because you need a piano dropped on your head to hear anything. And that's exactly what happened. Is I had to have a stroke because I knew something was off. I was overly tired. I was very irritable. My blood pressure was out of control. So your story sounds so familiar because we just keep saying we're under stress. We're tired. We're not sleeping. We're just, yeah.
One mistake we make, Deb, is that when something is just not right, our body responds by giving us a signal.
Yes.
It gives us a warning signal that something's not right. It's time for us to act, then take it very seriously. And most often we ignore those warning signals, and then we end up in big time trouble. We end up in disasters.
Absolutely, because if it was, let's say, not that stroke isn't serious, but let's say it was something like a tumor. That time that we wasted thinking it was just our stress. Thank you, baby. Thinking it was stress, we could have actually had missed out on the time to have that maybe treated or removed. So
Right.
I love that we're doing these shows because if nothing else, people are going to at least gain something with the knowledge of your body tells you something, like Syed said, pay attention.
Pay attention, and that's all the purpose.
I really want to drive home this point for everybody watching.
Yes.
Because it's something I see very common there around the world with survivors all over the world. They ignore the body. Syed said, and he's right, the body tells you something is wrong. Take it serious. So I'm telling you, listen to your body. Don't brush it off like we did. Like Syed.
Yeah. We made that mistake. By
Yeah,
not
I did too. I did.
I think most of us did. Or the doctors mistreat you and tell you, it's anxiety, stress, take this pill, go home and relax. Just be your own advocate.
Right. I think all stroke patients have ignored. That's the reason why they suffered a stroke.
Right.
They not ignored. Why would they have a stroke in the first place?
Well put. Absolutely. And that's why I love trying to list I have a group page where I love to list signs, because signs are different for everybody. Same thing with a heart attack. They're different for men, they're different for women, they can be different from child to adult. And so it can be anything. Just know your body, pay attention to your body, pay attention to what it's telling you.
I think it really is a point that's resonating that we need to mention and really drive. Listen to your body.
True.
The common things, so to see, but I see some recurring common pre-warning signs. Headaches, dizziness, lightheadedness. These are all common. Everybody has them. I had a brain aneurysm first. I had severe headaches.
Yeah, you can actually add a couple more things here, which are very common signs, like your blood pressure fluctuations, sometimes and mood swings, and also you start getting irritated or getting those bouts of anxiety. These are warning signs. Anxiety is a big warning sign. Mind it.
Really?
And that's what I felt, but I ignored it. My husband saw it in me, and he kept telling me, it's not like you. What's going on? Oh, I'm fine. I just got a lot to do.
True.
Wow.
True.
That is awesome.
That's a big sign. Anxiety is a big sign.
Yeah. So, Syed, was someone around when you had your stroke? Can you explain how it went?
That morning, it was maybe around, I should say, lunchtime, maybe around 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. I was preparing myself to leave for work, because I work night shift in India. Since I work with with my clients here in the United States, to me, my shift begins at about, say, 6 or 7 in the evening, and I work through the nights, which is daytime on the Eastern Coast. It's like 9 a.m. EST, New York time or Florida time. So I have got to match those timings. So I was preparing to leave for work. I was getting dressed. I just came out of the shower. I got dressed, and I was like all getting ready to go to the breakfast table. And all of a sudden, I just couldn't get up. I sat down for a while.
Sorry about the audio.
While I was playing myself.
No idea.
And for a few minutes, for maybe like 3 or 4 minutes, I was just sitting still. I thought maybe it is some kind of a muscle cramp or something, where I'm not able to lift my hand or leg. Then again, I tried to get up, and it doesn't happen. I was just not able to lift myself. I again sat down. I wanted to call my wife. I was on the first floor. My wife was in the kitchen below, and I couldn't call. I was just sitting there doing nothing. Wow. I couldn't call. I couldn't move. And then I sat there for a full maybe 10 minutes or so, and then by chance she came on top.
Oh
She
my
and
God.
she had entered the bedroom at the time, and then with great difficulty, I was not able to lift my left hand. I lifted my right hand and said, I just made a sign saying, just not able to talk, something's happening. And then she immediately brought me some water. I tried to sip the water, but then again, I could not swallow. My swallow was dead totally. My swallow function was dead. So the water came back again. I tried to swallow, but I spat it out. I tried to swallow a second time. I spat it out again. 3 or 4 times this happened. Then I realized I could not swallow. My voice has changed. My voice had changed, and I didn't sound the same. When I was talking, it sounded like somebody else was talking. Then my wife panicked. She called a couple of my relatives. It was my sister and my nephew who rushed in at the time, and then I was taken to the doctors. They thought that probably I had some problem with the throat, so we ended up going to a ENT specialist, and
Wow.
we did not realize it was a stroke.
Right.
We went to the ENT specialist, and the gentleman there, he checked the blood pressure. He saw it was so high, but he didn't realize. I mean, he'd have said even though he's a doctor, well, he is much more knowledgeable compared to us.
Absolutely.
So he should have recognized the sign. He gave me administered antibiotic for the throat, ENT antibiotic, and that was not all needed. So the rest of the evening, till say for another 4 or 5 hours, I was actually having those antibiotics and those medications. It never did help. I walked out of his clinic, and then I had to hold on to the railing to support myself. I had lost my balance. I had lost my walk. My left side was like not reacting. It was then I realized this is something else. My wife saw it, my sister saw it, and then they realized this is not ENT, this is something else. Then again, we went to another hospital, and they wasted another 12 hours trying to diagnose the problem. So what happened was before, when the stroke happened, and by the time it was diagnosed, it was understood that it was a stroke, we had lost almost 1 day, 24 hours. We had lost 24 hours, and then I think that was not enough time for all the damage the damage just multiplied, and it was enough time for whatever happened, and then it once they a neurologist came and he saw that it was a stroke. He recognized. He said immediately, I need to see his MRI reports, and then you probably might have to do a different treatment for him. He's not ENT. He's not an ENT subject at all.
Right.
You're actually giving him the wrong treatments. So then I was taken for the MRI. I got my MRI test done, and probably we also had it was not then the next day we also had CT scan done. So then the MRI revealed that it was a stroke. So once we had this MRI test done, then I was actually taken to critical care, and then my treatment actually began for stroke.
Wow.
So by then we had lost almost 24 hours. First thing that I want to tell here is that when you have these signs, when you see that these signs, you understand, even some of you say this is a stroke, go to a neurologist. A physician can't help you here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they say.
And even if it isn't, they'll send you home, but at least you're going to the right doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah, the reason the reason that point is so critical is time is brain loss. So
Exactly.
the longer you wait, the more brain damage occurs.
More brain damage. Okay, now let's understand what this thing stroke does immediately. I mean, why do we have a stroke? The stroke is because there is internal hemorrhage that is happening because there are some blood vessels that are ruptured already or in the process, and blood is actually spilling out. It is clotting. So you have clots developing all the time. The more you delay, the more clots.
Yep.
That is what is actually happening, right? So in my case, it was posterior circulation stroke. It was the hind part of the brain, which controls the balance and the coordination function. So that's the first thing to get affected. So I mean, that's the reason why most stroke patients are not immediately able to maybe use their hands and lift up their hands, or stand up and walk, or they lose their balance. By the time they understand what's happening, it's like becoming something else. It's like something it develops into something more serious.
Oh, absolutely. We call it in medicine, it is the golden hour. And that golden hour, guys, goes for many, many things, like even a heart attack. Because the longer you leave a heart attack going, a lot of people, one day we'll do a show on heart attack, because the longer you leave that going, that pressure or the heartburn or whatever it is you're feeling from the heart attack, you're losing muscle, heart muscle, and it's spilling out into your body, and that muscle starts to atrophy. Same thing with your brain. So that golden hour can in some people it can revert it like this, which is what happened with my husband. I was home when it happened. We were in the car. He couldn't get the ignition keys in, and he looked at me and goes, "Oh, wrong." And I called 911 immediately. They rushed him in, the stroke team. They called stroke alert. They gave him something called TPA, which is a clot buster. And with some people, you don't want to give it because you want to know their history. You don't want them to bleed out. It's a fine line, but at least it's an option to give you a chance of survival and getting complete recovery, like my husband did. And he was very, very lucky. I was there. He was in that hospital within 35 minutes of that sign, and everybody couldn't believe how fast he recovered from that. So it's so important.
Well, I didn't have that kind of luck. Deborah,
Yeah.
you actually took the right decision. You took him to the hospital, and you didn't waste time. What was the best thing in my case?
I knew. Your wife didn't know. You know what I mean? Some people don't know. I knew. I'd seen it. I'd been around it. So, for me, it was an easy thing to do. But for most people, it's not. They don't know.
Exactly. Unfortunate.
Can I ask, did you or your wife know what a stroke was before you had one?
Knew what stroke is. We had stroke patients in the family, but that was years back. So things didn't come back to us. We didn't have it didn't come back to us that it was a stroke. But then there were certain obvious signs which anybody couldn't have missed. I'm surprised. Now look at it. My left eye was like it opened just a slit, left eye, and my left cheek was like it was pulled down.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone looked at my face, then they would very easily say there's something wrong with the left cheek. The right cheek is okay. The left cheek is like it's like hanging a little bit. And then my left side compared to my right side, my left side was more immobile. I could not lift my hand, and there was no control. Even if I lifted my hand, it would just fall down, or it was just as if it didn't exist. There was no strength at all, and there was no grip on. I didn't have that grip in both hands. I could barely hold a spoon. I could barely lift a spoon.
Wow.
So, and even when I spoke, it was like I spoke with a lisp, and sometimes I used to salivate around the edge of the mouth, and all those things happen. And then, it was only after the MRI that we got to know that it was a stroke. And then by then, there was this. I had lost the swallow function, and this is called. This is referred to as neurogenic dysphagia. That's what we call it, because when you do not have this swallow function, you lose swallow function, and that is affected. That is what this condition is called. And now I had to be fed. Now the problem was I couldn't swallow. That was the biggest problem. So what they did was insert the Ryle's tube to which liquid food was administered. And I was on Ryle's tube for almost a month after that. Just
Wow.
imagine that. Yeah, I never had normal food. We guys in India, we cannot survive without rice. I mean, rice is staple diet.
Me too. I
So,
love my rice. Did they tell you at any time, Saeed, that maybe that would not go away, or did they tell you that it would come back, your swallow?
I kept getting different answers, but finally, well, I had the good fortune of being treated by one of the best neurologists in Bangalore.
Good.
I need to mention about this gentleman. He's Dr. Anil Ramakrishna by name, and right now in Bangalore, he's attached to Jain Mahavir Jain Hospital. He's available here, and also he is a neurologist with. Then there is another big hospital by India by name. It's a big hospital. He's attached there, and then he also has yeah. He also is available in a clinic called Rama Clinics in Bangalore. So for people who in India are viewing this program, they want to have access to Dr. Anil Ramakrishna. You can just search for him on Google and find his contact details in Bangalore. He's available at all these facilities.
That's
So
incredible.
this gentleman, he was. I mean, you all need to have the good fortune of having a good doctor attend to you. So 50% of the problem is solved when you have a good doctor listening to you. And the
Yep.
way they react, the way they handle you, the way they treat you. And Dr. Anil is one of those doctors who, I mean, a patient is, even without medication, I mean, he will heal just by looking at the doctor, listening to him.
That's awesome. I love those kind of doctors.
So, yeah, he did the right things. He had me doing the. I mean, he had taken care of in a different manner. I was in the hospital for a few days after my discharge, and then I used to have regular meetings with him. Then also followed by the physiotherapy sessions which the physiotherapist had with me, and then I started all this exercises and so. And then it was a little over a month when the rice stew was no longer needed and it was removed, and I was able to swallow small amounts of liquid and then semi-solid food, and then eventually I began to eat. But then, for me to have a full meal, it took more than 2 months. So till
I
then,
can imagine. Yeah.
so
Did you
that
ever
was
have
my life
trouble
till
with
then.
your speech? Did you ever have trouble with your speech?
Yes, I had a lot of problems with my speech. It was, I spoke with a lisp. It was not a normal speech, and it was as if, a child is speaking, not an adult. If somebody spoke to me, they would not believe it was my voice.
Yeah.
I had totally lost. I had lost 80% of my voice. You can say.
Wow.
Well, you don't want to bring up, you were all talking about these signs, the warning signs. But I want to bring up something that we have in the US, and I'm not sure it's in India, but it's called FAST. If someone is showing signs of stroke, use FAST. F is space stripping. You have it. You have to say, A is arm weakness. Have the person that may be having a stroke hold the arm straight out, where they will not be able to hold one up. S, speech. If their speech is off, like you just got through 10 people didn't think it was you talking. And T is time. FAST, we covered all the bases, you guys. Really, we have covered all the bases. Space stripping, arm weakness, speed, and time.
Well, there's one more big one that you might want to look for. Sometimes face grouping comes after this, and that is have them smile.
Oh,
Yes. That's
and
when you.
secondly, stick their tongue out, because their tongue will also droop to the one side or the other, or look
True.
awkward. So those two also.
True.
So
All these
keep it right.
signs.
What is the most pressing issue you cope with as a stroke survivor?
Oh, good question. First thing is most of the patients, stroke survivors here, for some reason, I don't know what it is, they lose confidence. They think they can't be the same people again. That is number one.
Very good.
Well, they do not look at stroke as a condition that can change, but they look at stroke as some full stop where everything stops and it can't go beyond that point.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's spot on.
Stroke.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that? Everyone did one hear what I just, that was a gold nugget.
Yeah.
Stroke is not permanent. It can
True.
change.
Right. It's a condition, it can change. I mean, most people fail to see that. They think the once they have a stroke, it is, I mean, they are finished. They are like bedridden for life and they have no life after that point. So I have seen people who have actually given up once they had a stroke, and it took them maybe a couple of years even to get out of their beds. They were not even that strong, or they didn't even recover that much, that they didn't even have, were not capable of getting on their beds and walking inside the house itself. So they were just bedridden, stayed in one place, stayed in their wheelchairs, and were happy doing that. And you know, I don't say anybody's happy doing that, but it's just that for some reason they take that. That's it. I mean, there's no beyond that point, and so they cause themselves more damage than the stroke did.
They do, because what happens is you start losing muscle tone, you start losing memory of muscle, because a muscle has memory, guys. This is huge if you want to keep this in mind. Muscle has memory. So when you start working at the weak hand or leg or what have you, that muscle starts to remember what it's supposed to do and how it's supposed to act. And the more you do it, the more it comes back. Watch an athlete that trains for an Olympic event, okay? They train like crazy, and then they may go for 4 or 5 years and not train. All of a sudden, they go back to training, and whoop, they're right back to where they were, because your muscle has memory, and it will take you back there. But you have to help it. You need to guide it.
Exactly. That's what my physiotherapist used to tell me, that there's some part of the memory, some repository that has been lost actually. So now when you retrain yourself to work in a certain way, with, of course, with constant exercising, and that is actually going to get into your system as a new lesson, something that you teach your system.
Yeah.
You have to constantly keep teaching your system, and that takes a little effort, and that's what most stroke survivors do not do. And that's the reason why the treatment is prolonged.
Exactly.
What a powerful show you do. I'm just proud of you both. I really am. Syed, what advice would you give a new stroke survivor?
I'm just going to tell you what I went through. I'm just going to tell you what gave me all this change and what helped me. So if all those people listening to this program can take that as advice, I think you'll win. If you are a stroke survivor, first thing you need to tell yourself that this is a temporary condition and it will go away with enough effort from your side. That's number one. You need to tell yourself that this is just a condition. And there is life beyond this point too. There's a long life beyond this point too, provided you are prepared to live that good life. So you don't have to stop at that point. You have to look beyond that point and be determined. And determination is very, very important. You need to be determined to fight this out, to be normal again, be healthy again, and do what it takes to stand up, get back to your feet. So that is number one. Number two is nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. Everything comes with a price. Now, if you want to live a normal, healthy life, there are certain things that you have to agree to. There are certain things that you will have to abide by, certain conditions. Like rest is very important when you have to rest. Good diet is very important when you have to have it. And advice for you, sir. And third is physical exercise, very, very important, right? Now look at it. If your treatment is like if you saw it as 100%, 33.33% of that is medication, 33.33% of that is your attitude, your determination, your attitude, what you tell yourself you are, and what you tell yourself about the stroke. That's 33%, and 33% is purely exercise and discipline.
Bet.
That is the best course for treatment.
Oh,
That is what I did.
Stroke coach, dude.
Yeah, he should be a stroke coach.
It's so true because everything
I
you say,
know,
I couldn't say it better as a nurse. I just
I'm ready to go jogging. I'm gonna.
Yeah, you can. You have to start jogging.
see that.
Swimming.
Yeah, exactly. Get that. I always tell them a body in motion stays in motion. And one thing else you have to remember, guys, which is so crazy, is think about when you injure yourself and break a leg or sprain a muscle. You don't think that that's where you're going to stay, correct? You know you're going to recover. So this is the same thing. It's a journey of recovery. You may not ever, if you break a leg, you may never use that leg again the same
Exactly.
way to get it back. So if you look at it as it is just a block that you need to recover from, like Syed said, it's not a period, it's not a stop.
Wow,
I mean,
I cannot. I gotta stop the show because I want to end on a high point right there. That is an extreme high point. Saeed, thank you so much for being there. And you and I talked about shortening the duration of shows a little bit because after all, you are a marketer and we're gonna give it a go. So I just cannot, I am so pumped and so excited about today's show. How about you, Dad?
I loved it. Matter of fact, on Friday, I started a show that's kind of like my thing. It's called Shoot the Breeze with Deb and Aaron, right? I'm going to have guests come on. I'd love to have you come on and you and I just kind of go through this venturing one day because we really have so much information, the both of us, to really help out people, I think.
Sure. I'm happy to help you in any way. I'd be happy to be on that show too. Of course, if I have an invitation.
Of course, you have it.
Deb, what you don't know, Saeed actually knew about your show already. He said about Ray Channel. He knew about your show.
Oh, good. Well, we're trying to reach and cover as many things as we can. So, Saeed, if you ever have any suggestions or things you want to throw at us to make things better and help more people, you just let us know. We'll chat.
Well, our association has just begun. So, as we go forward, as we spend more time with each other and we become more familiar with each other, there are definitely going to be some advices, some suggestions for each other. And we will stick together and we will see how things can improve and how we can make this better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really am a firm believer in energy, human and spiritual energy. And there's an energy here on Salisbury. I'm telling you right now. I feel like
This is this energy.
Absolutely.
Well, Saeed, thank you again for being on the show. Appreciate it. Deb, of course, thank you. So I'm going to end, I think, by playing this intro. It's all natural, but thank you, Saeed. So we'll see you again. Sounds like on Deb's show soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deb.
Thank
you so much,
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now that was an amazing show. Hope you really enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, like and share this video with anybody that you know. That will help. That will help. And then I want to again thank our guest Syed for just being an amazing guest. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing him on Deb's show soon. All right, everybody. All right, Deb.
That was great.
I kept it a little early, but that was a really great show.
That was a great show. And, you know, anybody out there that felt the same way, please share the show. I know we say that all the time, but it's the only way you're going to get us out in front of more people so that we can do what we feel in our hearts is important, is reach people that we can help, you know, either help them through their dark time of being in that journey of survival and recovery, or maybe save someone from going through what we have gone through.
Yeah, and then I want to take 1 minute to tell Melon, my app, the platform we're using, there was an issue, a glitch in the audio, sharing the audio kept glitching all the time. So
I heard it.
Please work on fixing that. But you do, Deb, I think there's several takeaways I wanted to take away from this show because I really have appreciated Syed from India coming on our show. Is listen to your body. If you have a persistent headache or a numbness or show any pre-warning signs of stroke, your body will begin to tell your brain there's something wrong. I had not met one stroke survivor that somewhere didn't have some funny feeling about something was wrong with the body. I don't know if the body knows it's about to have an issue, but it did.
I know one, my husband. My husband had no sign.
Really?
None. We had been out shopping all day. We went to the grocery store and we came home. We unloaded the groceries. We were both in a great mood, full of energy, had a great day. And we said, hey, let's go to the mall and get a bite of dinner there because we love this little Asian seafood place there. So we went to we were going to the mall. We got back in the car and he was putting the car keys in the ignition and he just kept missing the hole. And I kept saying to myself, wow. Either he's stressed out or something's going on. And sure enough, he kept trying. And then he looked over at me. And that's when, with his mouth and his face kind of odd, he said, something is wrong. And then it just, I knew, you know, so there was no signs with him. So guys, every stroke is different. Every recovery
listen
is
to what
different.
Deb just said, that the warning sign, do not confuse it. I'm sorry if I come across that way, but some strokes will not have early warning signs.
It's rare. It's rare. My husband's was very rare because most of the time, yes, they have some sort of a precursor to it, but nothing. And I know him, so I was with him. And if there was something off, I watch him like a hawk because he's my baby, he's my honey, my life, you know. And I know anytime he has a sniffle coming, and I would have seen it. And that stroke, it snuck up on us.
Well, I think it's really, you know, for if you have those early warning signs, get to the hospital. Neurologists, have them check you out, do a CT scan, MRI, whatever they do, and just get yourself checked out. If you don't have signs and you fall into the fast category, which is face drooping, arm weakness, speech slurred, time is everything. Get to the hospital, dial 911 right away. I'm assuming you being a nurse, you dial 911 right away for your husband when he had a stroke.
Oh my God, I'll tell his story one day. I'm going to have him on my show. Maybe I'll too. I'm going to bring on Friday,
Oh,
being that
that's
it's
great.
Friday again,
Yeah.
because you will die laughing knowing him the way you know him now. When I said to him, I said, I looked straight at him and I said, honey, you're having a stroke and I don't want you to panic because I've got this. And I'm going to go in the house and get you some aspirin. So I gave him 2 huge full strength aspirins and I brought them out with some water so he could chew them. Meanwhile, 911. So when we were sitting in the car, I took his car keys from him because I didn't know how he was going to react when he saw the ambulance pull up behind us. And I'll tell the story of how he reacted.
Well, I look
Not
forward
happy.
to you're going to have him on your show and do it. That'd be awesome.
We'll do that Friday. How about we have my husband on with us Friday? That will be fun.
I do know you're the nurse of the family, but I do want to say something about the aspirin. I had a brain aneurysm. If someone gave me aspirin before, but with my brain aneurysm, they wouldn't be able to stop bleeding, and I would not be here right now. So I don't know how do you know when to get that? I know majority of circular blood clot oriented.
Okay, I knew, and that's a really good point, Aaron. I'm really glad you brought that up because it is important, and you could make it worse. I knew because it was my husband, and I know his medical history. He had atrial fib, and he had been told that he should have been on Coumadin. We tried him on Coumadin. He hated it. So the doctor put him on aspirin therapy. And he told him, if you ever have signs of a stroke, go get yourself some aspirin, or your wife will get you some aspirin. So because I knew his history and I knew what was happening, I just took that chance, that the aspirin, and it did actually save him some time. That's a good question. Good comment. I'm glad.
It will help somebody with their stroke that it can reverse or minimize the damage that stroke does.
And for him, he did.
Aspirin normally does work, Deb. I agree. But in my case, very rare. I had a brain aneurysm. But I think most, not all, but some get pre-warning signs. Headaches, persistent. I went to ER 4 times. 4 times I left ER with migraine medication.
Wow.
Yeah, it was but what my neurologist, my neurosurgeon told me what was happening is my brain aneurysm was swelling and it's pressing on my brain, causing me excruciating headaches. Headaches like you wouldn't believe. So if you experience dizziness, vertigo, whatever, go get checked. Listen to your body. If you're one of those fortunate ones that get pre-warning signs, listen to your body. For me, I would be sent home with migraine medication, which I thought it was, because I had a cousin also had migraines, and she described them very similar: the light sensitivity, the nose sensitivity. I thought I was having the migraines for the first time in my life at age 47, but they weren't. They were actually, I would go home, I would take the migraine medication, and they wouldn't touch my headaches, Deb.
And that's the key right there. They tell you, if you ever have a headache, the worst headache you've ever had, and something as simple as Tylenol or whatever it is you take over the counter does not work, then you go in. But also what I learned with my stroke, this is really important because as a nurse myself, I didn't know. When I woke up with my stroke, it was the last day of, or was it the 31st? It was the 31st and of August. And it was so weird because I woke up to go to the bathroom in the morning and I could feel that I had some tingling and numbness in my hand, fingers. It felt odd, but I always kind of sleep funny on my side from my back surgery. So I thought I had slept funny, and I went back to bed, woke up, and it was still there, went to the ER closest to me. They did a CAT scan, sent me home, and said, it's probably just a pinched nerve, something in your neck, and, you know, stress or whatever. And they sent me home. Well, sure enough, not only did it stay, it never went away, but also it continued down my left leg. Meanwhile, my left side of my face wasn't drooping, no problems with my speech. It was numb, tingling. My lips were numb, like I'd gone to the dentist. And what I didn't find out until after I saw my neurologist, after everything happened, he said, and I said, why would that hospital, the first one I go to, send me home? Even after doing a CAT scan, he said, usually, oddly enough, people don't know this, that when you're having the beginning of a stroke, for 24 hours, it won't get picked up on an MRI or a CAT scan. So if that happens to you and they send you home and you still feel there's something there, guys, don't count on that. I did. And I'm a nurse of 40 years, and I thought, it's not. They took a CAT scan. I didn't know. Go back and have them do more tests.
Great advice, man.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Be your own advocate. Just because they're doctors. I mean, no. Just because they're doctors, they do CT scan, they do all their thing, doesn't always make 100% right. Your body will tell you something's still wrong. Go back in, get checked out. Disagree with the doctors, push.
Oh yeah, you have to. You have to, because I mean, we live in our own bodies, and we know them best than anybody. And you know, if you make enough noise, they're going to listen to you, and they're going to put you back there and do some tests. You know, if you go home quietly, and you know, we've all made that mistake. So that's what I love, is by being here, we can share with you our mistakes so you don't make that mistake, or a loved one doesn't make that mistake. But great show today, Aaron. And I love, I have to tell you, buddy, I love what you're doing. I am proud to be part of what you're doing. You touched my heart.
It is sweet, Deb. You are like my sister. God, my I'm gonna cry.
I know, me too. So get off.
But you are my sister sent by God. I really appreciate being there. And I really feel like we are going to impact this world. We're going to make a difference.
We are.
Okay.
We are.
I'm going to turn into a crying baby because I'm grateful.
I know.
But I want to end everybody with the video. And Deb, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody. Share us out.
Bye, everybody. Make sure you share it out. She's right. Share it. Sharing is caring. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. And please share this video with anybody that you think could use it. If you have a question for us, be sure to visit us on the web at www.stroketv.org. If you're in a position or know somebody that is in a position to donate to Stroke TV Foundation, it is our goal and our heart's desire to help stroke survivors and survivors of worldwide. So please, if you can afford any amount of money, go to www.stroketv.org, click on the More tab and hit the Donate Now, and make any type of charitable donation. We are certified 513C and able to give you a receipt for tax deduction. So again, appreciate everybody being there. Sharing is caring. Like this video, leave us a comment, tell us what you think. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.